Chapter 7, Sprout of Love, Root of Love. When is she finally going to the... to solve the epitaph? Chapter 8, I guess? 1 year later. So 1982. 4 years until the incident. Seriously, why do you guys turn into total morons when they get together? Jessica's room was filled with laughter. It was one hell of a reality check. I thought this guy was a bit cool, a bit adult-like, and then I see him with some of the other guys in our class talking about dirty stuff with this creepy laugh. It's true that boys always act like little kids when they're together. Well, it's not like girls are any different. The fun chat between girls continued without end. Tonight, Klaus and Natsuhi were out late at a meeting on Niijima. Most of the time, Natsuhi was always watching, so Jessica would always make sure to be curt with the young servants, but when Natsuhi wasn't around, Jessica never did that. Understandable. She had invited the servants of similar age to her room and they were chatting away noisily. At that age, everyone wants to know about love. Thanks to the rigid and constricting way Jessica had been brought up, she enjoyed talking about it all the more. But you're pretty incredible, milady, and you're that age. Aren't there any boys you're interested in? Well, I'd like to fall in love, but there really aren't any good ones around. I think you should be a bit more proactive about it. You can act all relaxed now, but that's not gonna last long, okay? Once one of your friends starts going out with someone, it'll turn your world upside down. There's no way that'll happen. None of my friends are traitors, I think. Oh, no. The outbreak of love is the one time you can't rely on friendship between girls. If you met someone you liked, you'd betray your friends and go out with the guy without a second thought, wouldn't you? What about you, Shannon? It's not fair if I'm the only one who has to talk. Yeah, when did 1982? This is not. I'm not even born yet. I don't have anyone like that around. Not around. He's far away, far away, and like Orihime and Hikiboshi, I don't get to see him very often. In fact, I don't even know when I'll be able to see him again. However, I believe that he will come for me someday. I believe it. Don't you betray me, okay, Shannon? If we get boyfriends, we'll get them together. You got that? Right? We promised, right? Well, you might not believe it, but it's not at all rare for girls just like Shannon trying to get a head start. Shannon, confess, you aren't going out with anyone, are you? You are, right? I'm not really. IRC, yeah, I guess that was that. When did that start? Not sure. I mean, not in 1981 or 2. Really? Really? We get boyfriends together, okay? No matter what happens, okay? Anyone who lies has to eat porcupine fish. Yes, I promise. What's porcupine fish? Now that's the face of a liar. I'm willing to bet Shannon-chan beats everyone else in this room. I can tell. It's always the quiet ones that go first. Shannon, how could you? Confess! Please stop, milady. That tickles. And so, another Sunday afternoon passed by. I worked my way out of the fight and looked up at the sky through the window. Is Betla-san happily chatting away with his friends somewhere right now, just like I am? As I think of you like this, are you thinking of me? But if I ask that, it's the same as admitting that I don't trust you. I will wait, and when you do come for me, I will announce then and there that I'm quitting my job. I've already prepared myself to do so, but you haven't come yet. That isn't because you won't come, but because I'm not determined enough yet, right? It's because I haven't clearly envisioned a future with you, right? I will wait, no matter how long, until you come for me riding a white horse. I will always treasure our promise. The promise of our precious resolve. Never make a promise with a guy. You can't count on them. Thinking that she had read my mind, I spun around. Of course she hadn't, but... Well, for stuff like that, I think guys and girls have different ideas of what's important. No, that's not it. You've got it all wrong. On the whole, girls tend to be dreamers and guys just do stuff without thinking. I guess understanding between the sexes is pretty much impossible after all. At least, I think it's pretty hard. Girls often have the bad habit of thinking they know exactly what the guy is thinking right away. They search for hidden meanings behind words that guys say for no reason in particular, and just get the wrong idea. When she's like, who are you again? That would be horrible. Oh yeah, I've known girls like that. Those girls who hear something that anyone else could tell them was trivial, but think it means the guy is totally into them. Yeah, I see it all the time. I mean, that happens the other way around as well. It's a bit sad when a girl gets the wrong idea for no reason. The pair of them laugh together. When a girl gets the wrong idea, could that be me? No, that can't be. After all, Betla-san clearly made a promise. He said he'd come for me riding a white horse. I mustn't doubt. I'm sure this conversation I'm hearing is just another one of God's trials, so I won't listen. I won't care about it. If there's one thing I never want to be, it's one of those poor girls who thinks a guy's heart is linked to hers for no reason. Those demonic sneers tormented me and tried to lead me astray. I'm sure he'll come to the next family conference. Spoiler alert, he didn't. But Betla-san did not appear at the 1982 conference either. Bit by bit, things were changing from the way they'd been at the last family conference he'd come to. Everyone had gotten completely used to Kiria-sama, Rudolph-sama's new wife, and she came down off the boat with a familiar stride. Her daughter, Angie-sama, was growing well, and all of the family focused their attention on her. Even Maria-sama, though she was still tiny, was already 5 years old. She was full of energy and old enough to enjoy playing with George-sama. Jessica-sama and George-sama had already stopped talking about Betla-san's absence. It was the same with the other relatives too. No one touched on the subject as though they had forgotten that Betla-san was missing. Maria-sama had only been there 3 when she had last seen Betla-san. It was doubtful whether she even remembered him. In just 2 years, all trace of your existence has been erased from the Ushiromiya family conference. That made me sad. That's true, Christian. and horrible as well, but very true. And so it looks like Betla-san didn't come back this year either. True. Feeling a bit lonely. Well, Uncle Rudolph and Aunt Kiria don't even bring him up anymore. It looks like Betla-kun was much more serious about it than we thought. I wonder if he really will stay away forever. It looks like that was him leaving the nest after all. He spread his wings and left for a new stage of life. Don't you think so? He's always been crazy and reckless. Well, what more do you expect from a guy? Well, we know Betla-kun. I'm sure he's adapted to his new life and is enjoying himself, so I don't think there's any reason to worry. I just remembered, don't they even tease him when he finally does come back with, "Hey, you said you're gonna come back on a white horse and stuff. Oh, it was so funny." And Shannon was there when they teased him about it, right? Imagine that. Probably not very fun for her. When George-sama said that with a smile, I felt a bit uncertain. What does he mean by there's no reason to worry? I'm sure he's enjoying himself. This is Betla we're talking about, so you can bet he's forgotten all about us and is having a great time. Yeah, I'll bet he is, and I think that's for the best. Thinking for himself, his family, and his late mother, Betla-kun decided on his own to find a new life. So I hope he lives that new life to the fullest. If he forgets about the Ushiromiya family, that's just perfect. George-sama smiled at me as though expecting me to agree. Yeah, well, after a moment of shock, I smoothed my expression over and found the expression he was expecting. Is Betla-san living happily, having forgotten about the family, about me, about our promise? That can't be true, it just can't be. Betla-san must be looking forward to that day of decision just like me. I'm not mistaken about that. He promised me. He said he'd come riding a white horse. He never asked him to say that. He said he'd come for me on the day I resolved myself to live life for his sake. He made that promise himself. For 2 years, I've believed that. I've done all I could to make it through God's trials and the whisperings of demons that try to throw me from my path. And yet, the things both George-sama and Jessica-sama are saying are so cruel. Betla-san has forgotten about us and has started a new life. Why are they telling such lies? But that night, I dreamed of Betla-san for the first time in a long while. The Betla-san in my dream wasn't the Betla-san I believed in. It was the Betla-san that George-sama and Jessica-sama had spoken of. The one who had forgotten everything and started a new life. Morning. I woke up with a tear-stained face. The face I saw in the mirror cried and told me it couldn't wait any longer. If I've managed to wait this long, why can't I wait any longer? This is a trial, so we must believe in him and wait. But the me in the mirror spoke. It was sharper than a fragment of glass. I talked about this promise with him, but did we ever really make such a promise? Wasn't Jessica-sama talking about it? That some girls are dreamers who get the wrong idea? And wasn't George-sama talking about it too? He said that Butler-san had gotten used to his new life and had forgotten about the Ishinomiya family. Yeah, probably. I mean, it really does seem like he didn't mean it as much as he, like, seemed to. Asshole. I mean, they were young, okay, so I can understand how he was probably very young and trying to just impress her and say, like, try to say cool, impressionable stuff without thinking too hard about it. But well, he did make a promise, and he, like, stated several million times that he would come back, so kind of a shitty thing to do, to not even, like, at least remember all the things he said to her and at least call or something. Well, by now he isn't the only one who's forgotten. Unless I ask about it, everyone on this island has forgotten his name. Even Rudolph-sama doesn't say his name anymore. If I weren't here to remember his face, perhaps his existence would have been erased from everyone's hearts. I don't believe it, so I won't doubt. Bella-san must still remember his promise. We're both waiting for the day of decision, the day we'll be together. Bella-san, I've firmly made up my mind. Does the fact that you're not here mean that, after all, I'm not determined enough? No, it's because you and God are testing me, isn't it? In that case, I will endure, until that promised day inevitably comes. Yeah, I mean, and then it comes and they all make fun about the whole thing he said back then. That's... Well, so please, Bella-san, I want some proof that you haven't forgotten me. It was the crack that ran across my ceramic-like heart. I had to acknowledge it now. It may be that I'm pretending not to notice something terrifying and sad. Bella-san makes me yearn for him. Bella-san makes me sad. Bella-san makes it hurt. Bella-san, do you still remember me now? Umineko. Oh, the year I was born. It's gotta be a good year then, right? And then came the third family conference since Bella-san left. If the number of beds was going to increase, we would have been told about that when setting up. So, another disappointment. Another disappointing year. The fact that nothing has changed in particular means that he probably won't be here this year either. Clinging to a final bit of hope, I stood by the docks, watching the boat draw closer. I'm really not sure, I may completely misremember this, but was Shannon among the people who also welcomed everybody right at the docks in episode 1? And did they perhaps even say how unusual it was? No, I think it was Jessica who was there and I was surprised she was there. Gotta look that up again. Hey Shannon-chan, you're looking as pretty as ever. Careful, Angie. Watch your step. Hey Shannon, I really do love Rock Kenjima. I can't wait for Uncle Klaus to turn it into a resort. For a second, I read I can't wait for Uncle Klaus to turn into a resort. Wouldn't that be a spectacle? There's no need for that. It'd be such a waste. You've got a point there. How have you been, Shannon-chan? I think you've gotten a bit taller since last time. Thank you very much. And the weather's good again this year. It's so great having every single member of the family together all nice and cheerful. Please allow me to guide you to the mansion. Well, she certainly is not cheerful, is she? So after all, Bella-san has been so thoroughly forgotten that he might not have existed in the first place. Close knee land, yeah. I'm sure the sadness will show on my face. Not wanting anyone to see it, I turned my back to the family and led the way up to the mansion by myself. Then suddenly someone mentioned Bella-san's name and I jumped. What? You saw Bella-kun? How's he doing? He's doing very well. I took Angie and had some tea with him the other day. I was surprised. So Kiryu-sama was in touch with Bella-san. You know, this might have been... Like, why didn't you take her aside sometime during the day? Just bring her some tea or something, or to her room. Be like, oh, I just thought I might bring you some tea. Oh, by the way, can we talk? Even if it's like, oh, you should do that as a servant. Fuck that for a moment. Just ignore that. It's better than to keep on like living like that. Waiting and doubting and all that. Just screw being a servant for one moment and, I don't know, take her aside. Probably. I was surprised, so Kiryu-sama was in touch with Bella-san. According to her, both Bella-san and Rudolph-sama had long since calmed down after their fight, but both were so stubborn that they hadn't found a good chance to make up. And since Bella-san had gotten used to living with his grandparents and going to school there, and considering that those grandparents might make things even more difficult, going to convince Bella-san to come home wouldn't be easy. It's just too bad. I think Asuma-san's parents were even more angry than Bella-kun was. This isn't just an issue between Bella-kun and Rudolph-san anymore. Then will Bella be coming back sometime soon? He will make up with Rudolph-san, but it looks like he doesn't intend to return to the Shiromiya family. Such a shame. Though I do understand how he feels. It was a bit of a relief to hear that some of the bad feeling had died down in these 3 years. If we take Asuma-sama's parents into account, it's no surprise that things haven't gone as well as they could. But if Bella-san doesn't hate Rudolph-sama anymore, then someday, surely he will come back. He'll have grown so much. My resolve will not waver anymore. For some nights these past 3 years, I've felt sad and resentful, but now it feels as though those 3 years were something I needed. After all, the seeds of love, the faint feelings I once had for you, have budded powerfully, waiting for the day we'll be reunited. This is how honest my feelings for you are now. I love you. I want to see you again as soon as I can. Until that time, I'll keep that bud of love warm and growing for you. Yeah, I mean, actually what you keep saying, Christian, is kind of right. I mean, when he finally does come back, I think he does comment on her looks and all that, but there's nothing about him that shows that he remembers even remotely what he said back then. So it's almost like, who are you again? I won't doubt the coming of that day anymore. Just as I think of you under the same sky, I believe that you are thinking of me. Yeah, probably never happened. I'm sure this news about him is a sign that God is cheering me on, so I asked God one more time inside my heart. Since my feelings for Bella-san have not wavered for a day these past 3 years, let me know that he feels the same way. I know that asking for that is a sin. However, now that we've reached a 3-year turning point, I want some gift from God, any gift, to show that I have not waited in vain. That is what I prayed. Oh, that's right. It's been so long since Bella-kun last saw you, all right? I thought you might be feeling lonely, so I told him to write you letters. Here they are. Uh-oh. Let me guess. There's not a letter for Shannon? Huh? Did God really hear my prayers? I felt as though my heart was going to leap out of my chest. Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this. A letter from Battler? Awesome. What do you write? Did he say anything about how he's been doing lately? I can't wait to read it. Kiryu-sama pulled a brown envelope out of her bag and handed it to George-sama. Just one? When George-sama opened it, several folded letters came out. Looks like this one is addressed to me. They all have different names in them. Yeah, this one's yours, Jessica-chan. Thanks. And this one's for Maria-chan. Can't you read yet? I'll read it to you later, when I'm done slapping her. There's even one for Angie-chan. Now, of course, she can't read. I'll give it to her when she does learn. He says he's doing great and having a blast. Good for him. Oh, man. I fucking knew it. Man, this is bad. Is that all of them? Betla, you ass. Yep. Looks like that's all of them. Thanks a lot. George-sama handed me the empty envelope. Apparently he thanked me because he thought I was offering to throw it away for him. And clearly there was nothing inside it. There was no letter for me. War. The more I read, the more fun it looks like Bella-kun's been having. Living every day to the fullest. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like in mine too. If he's happy, then I guess that's what counts. Man, that's that's gonna suck so much. That's so mean of Batlakan. Sounds like he forgot about us until you told him to write those letters, Curious-san. Well, you know what he's like. It sounds like he was living life to the fullest, and I hear he's popular with the ladies at school too. Yeah, just keep on saying one thing after another. That's probably gonna hurt. Wow, that's incredible. There should be plenty of girls who like those hilarious melodramatic lines of his. Yeah, like the one about coming back for sure on a white horse. Makes sense to me. I wonder if he really does plan not to return to the Shiromiya family. Looks like it. And mine? It says he doesn't think he'll return to Rokkenjima again. You know, remember that cliff that people kept jumping down from? Might be a good time now. After that, I knew that all of these letters were trials from God. The fact that there was no letter from me and the fact that he was enjoying life and had forgotten about Rokkenjima were just more trials. You know, at this point, you're just lying to yourself. God is testing me. The fact that there was no letter from me alone is proof of that. That's what I want to think, but now it's just too much. Yeah, Sia thinks she's beginning to understand that whatever she thought was you know, it might have been an important promise to you, but it looks like it wasn't for Battler. No way. Then that promise about him coming for you was... I was a dreamer. It was just an illusion I created. To Battler, they were probably just meaningless words to make him sound cool. To anyone but her, it would have been such a funny story to hear. That promise with Battler might have been an illusion the whole time. In the first place, we don't know if they both felt the same way about each other at all. Love is an illusion. However, if both sides are seeing the same illusion, that love becomes true. That's an interesting way to put it. However, when the feelings of each side are different, then there's nothing more than a joke. This is Battler's sin. Making Shannon think that it was a promise? Wrong. Huh? It's that he didn't even remember. If he simply broke his promise, I could have taken him to task for it. I could have regretted my mistake, or I could have won him back. However, you can't question someone about something they don't even remember. I am unable to hate Battler-san. After all, Battler-san didn't even break his promise. There just wasn't any promise to start with. It was nothing more than a sad joke. I kept on crying and crying. I dug my fingernails into my pillow, soaking it with my tears. How much easier it would be to hate something. But I can't hate anything. I just couldn't get over my miserable arrogance, which had led me to believe for 3 whole years that he felt the same as I did. I guess that's how she eventually, overcame it and moved on and got closer to George. I am to blame for this. My responsible words led you to believe that Battler made a promise. No, this isn't anyone's fault. It's all because I assumed that he felt the same way I did. Battler made no promise, and yet his feelings were surely sincere. Though there might have been a difference in degree when compared to yours, it is true that he liked you. Of that there can be no doubt. Please, just stop it. I've believed that he liked me the way I liked him without ever doubting that. Please don't try to cheer me up. I'd rather that you mocked me. Before I knew it, a dull, inescapable pain had pierced my chest. When I pressed my hand against my chest, I realized what that pain was. It was the bud of love whose seeds I had sown and nurtured in my heart. Its roots had spread all the way across my chest, tormenting me like a metal wire wrapped around my heart. They looked less like roots and more like fissures running through my heart. I can only hold back the pain by tearing out the root of love, but no matter how much I scratch at it, I'm only scratching at my chest. The root of love doesn't move at all. If I started hating Battler-san without any lingering interests or regrets, I'd be able to pull this root out easily. Once I did, it would probably leave a hole behind, but at least it wouldn't hurt me anymore. but I can't pull it out. Even though it hurts so much, those roots of love are still stuck in my heart. Shannon, even now, I love Battler-san. I want to see him. I want him to come back. I believe he will come back someday, and I want to wait for him. I think at this point, what you love is the image of him that you have in your head that actually greatly differs from what or who he is at this point in reality. And the fact that this image is different from reality and will never be able to come true is probably making it even more painful. But right now, it's just too much. Because, like, even if he came back, he would not be the person you imagine him to be in your head, and the person, like, the image of him that you love. As I sobbed, the tightness in my chest grew even stronger. As long as I like Battler-san, that pain will always continue. Because I like him, I want to hold on to that pain forever. But it was written right there in the letters for George-sama and the others. Battler doesn't plan on returning to the Rishinomiya family. He's forgotten about me and Rokkanjima, and has started a new life with a different name. I must wait for him for all eternity, despite how painful, aching, excruciating this is. Is this another trial? Is God telling me to wait for him forever? I can't do that. I want to be with Battler-san, but if this is the trial, that I must go through for that, then it's just too painful. Beatrice hung her head in shame. If she hadn't encouraged Shannon so much, it probably wouldn't have been this painful. Shannon may have been the one to sow the seed of love in her heart. However, Beatrice had irresponsibly watered it and told Shannon not to give up. Beatrice scratched at her chest, trying to share Shannon's pain. This is my fault. Beatrice mumbled to herself. What's your fault? For 3 years I tortured you with the illusion of a promise that never happened. If I had not nourished the bud of love within you, you would not have suffered so. Nice vocals here. Shannon, this may sound harsh, but listen. What is it? Forget Battler. There was no bud of love in the first place. No, I'm the one who nourished it. No matter how painful it is, I can't forget it. But you cannot bear that pain any longer, can you? Wordlessly, Shannon held her chest and hung her head. I love Battler. That feeling burns inside me, so that I still cannot let it go no matter how much it hurts. And I've spent 3 years pretending that I didn't feel that pain. Now I know that I feel it, and since I know, I can't bear it. So you cannot throw away your bud of love for Battler? Yes. However, at this rate, the bud, the root, will kill you. People need a universe to survive. And one person cannot create the universe alone. That universe. Two are needed. A universe. Together with Battler, you created the universe of that bud of love. Now that one half of that pair is gone, your universe has crumbled. People cannot complete a universe on their own. However, Battler-san, the other person who creates my universe, won't come back. Then you must create a new universe with someone else. You mean create one with someone other than Battler-san? I will give you such a person. Which person? A creature to bury the pain in your heart and heal you. He will not betray you. Yes, let it be a sibling. I will give you a little brother. Little brother? A boy you have always been close to at the Fukuin house, whom you love as if he were your real brother. That I shall give to you. So is it really gonna be Shannon cross-dressing as canon? Together with him, you will create a new universe. I mean, I laugh about it, but if you look at Leon and consider that they're both the same person, then it should be possible for Shannon to pose as a boy, even though I have no idea what she's doing about her, you know what I mean. But maybe they're not real. Maybe they're actually smaller. But like, Leon, if what I'm thinking right now is true, and Leon and Shannon are like the same person, just in different realities depending on whether or not they were accepted, then you can see that she has a way of looking like a man. Will that little brother make me forget about the pain of my love for Bella-san? Correct. You need a universe. Then what will happen to the bud of love in my heart? My feelings for Bella-san won't change. I can't make them wither. I shall accept that bud and those roots in your place. You will? You can forget the pain of love and create a new universe. I will accept the bud of love in your place. It means that I will accept the pain as well. But I will learn of the single element I do not possess. Love. If this represents that she actually has some kind of split personality, I wonder, do multiple personalities, like, would this kind of exchange be possible if you had multiple personalities and one of these personalities has a certain memory or feeling that this personality doesn't like and want to get rid of? Would it be possible to push it onto another personality? I don't know, I mean, it doesn't have to be possible in real life because it's a fictional tale, but it just made me wonder if there was anything like that possible in people with multiple personalities. Beatrice wanted to know love, but isn't it like, I think usually, or not usually, but often the way multiple personalities are created is when something terrible happens, and then the person experiencing this terrible thing creates another personality to push the terrible thing onto. Actually, there's a certain game I just remembered that also has this topic. She wanted to feel what Shannon had felt in the world of humans. And if Bella ever does return, if the bud still has not withered and you still desire it, I shall return it to you. What do you think of that? Still hanging her head, Shannon gave a small nod, but said nothing. It would mean release from this unbearable pain, and it would mean giving the bud of love to the witch to hold in her place. Shannon spread the hands that she had held to her chest. As she did, a faint light popped out of her chest and floated in the air, gradually swallowing everything with its brightness. As the brilliant light began to fade away, Shannon and Beatrice, still facing each other, were now inside a vast, starry sphere like a planetarium. They were the only ones in this pitch-black starry sea. Shannon felt as though she'd seen this place once before, but she couldn't remember. Then I made another announcement. Modify this world. Let the bud of love travel from Shannon to Beatrice. This way, Shannon won't be tormented by the bud of love anymore. And furthermore, she will be given a little brother with whom she can create a new universe. The design for the little brother will be a younger boy at the Fukuin house with whom Shannon was close. For a name, let there be On, the On character, as the Fukuin house rules state. Yeah, I've decided. That's a perfect name to go with Shannon's. Also, that's, those who don't know, that's not the only way to read this character, On, but usually that's, I mean, with Kanon and Shannon, that's like, seems to be the most used one here. He'll be a quiet, reticent boy. He'll come to Rokkanjima as a new servant. There, he will open his heart to Shannon. As a duty-minded boy who loves Shannon like a big sister, he'll always be there for her. Let's have him be a special servant like Genji, who is permitted to serve Kinzo directly. Yeah, that sounds kinda cool. Then Beatrice. From now on, you will carry the bud of love. In other words, the role of being infatuated with Battler and waiting for his return will go to you. While you are still the witch who reigns over Rokkanjima's night, you have also been waiting for Ushiryomiya Battler ever since that day 3 years ago. Along with this change in setting, I'll give you a new form as well. He did tell us what his ideal woman would look like once, remember? Huh. So that's where she turned into that. A woman with a good figure and long golden hair like a foreign model. Golden hair, long hair, a good figure. Yeah, something like that. That's what the new Beatrice will look like. Come now, hold that bud of love in your heart as you wait for Battler. This way, you will learn of love in exchange for earning pain. Yes, this will be the setting for my new world. For Shannon, a new servant like a brother, little brother will come. He will be a silent, reticent boy, a duty-minded kid who loves Shannon as a sister. And the bud of love that has tortured Shannon will go to the witch Beatrice. She will just be holding on to the bud of love for the time being. However, while she holds on to it, she will be a maiden in love with Battler. For that time, you will be able to learn what love is. Come, let the world be modified. Oh, I am one, yet many. Awaken us, and stretch your wings in this new world. Slowly, I opened my eyes to the gentle rays of the morning sun. How long has it been since I last saw such a pleasant morning? The face in my mirror is tear-stained and pathetic, however my heart is as clear as the morning sun. I could still clearly remember that strange dream, however I can feel myself forgetting it rapidly. The place I was in my dreams had been such a strange place, a peaceful, calm place. There I had left behind the pain I had carried in my chest until yesterday, so this morning my heart was at peace. Good morning, me. My tear-stained face really is pathetic, however my expression is bright and cheery. Even now, I like Battler's son, but for some reason, I've calmed down. It feels like I've put something precious safely away in the place it belongs. Battler's son, when will you come back, I wonder? When you do, I'd like to talk about mystery novels again. Oh, I almost forgot. A new boy servant will be coming today, right? Yeah, but just in your mind. One of the rare servants who will serve the master directly. What kind of kid will he be? I hope we get along well. What was his name again? I'm pretty sure it was, MC Kanon in the house. Meist Kinzo aus dem Fenster raus. 1984, 2 years until the incident. Men in work cloth were spreading a tarp over a section of the hall. Uh-oh. The picture. The epitaph. Finally. From the way they measured the wall and set out tools, it could be seen that they were planning some sort of construction project. This is of the utmost importance to the master. Be sure that you do not damage it. The president of the construction company nodded his head several times to show that he understood. Then 6 young workers carried in a large rectangular object, wrapped in a white sheet. Okay, careful there. Set her down gently. I said gently. No! Fell out the window. Oh, it's raining. Sorry. Just pictured all kinds of calamities at once in my head. Is this the spot? Great, let's get started. Apparently they were putting something large into the wall of the hall. Wouldn't it be hilarious if they put it up the wrong way? Like, they just already have something there to hang it, but they have their white sheet all over it, and then they hang it there, and then they call for Kinzo, and then they pull the sheet off, and it's just the back of the paint. Because they fucking flipped it around by accident. And then silence. Just Kinzo slowly turning very red. I love it. Apparently they were putting something large into the wall of the hall. He plans to hang that thing there. That's what he wants. After all, this mansion is little more than one of Father's toys. Heads would probably roll if that if that happened. It reminds me of a story a professor at university told us in Japanese studies. Apparently, there was a time where Japanese were like trying to build boats like the Portuguese, but they didn't have much experience in it. So basically, they didn't have a great understanding of boat physics and all. So they just to impress, like they took the boats the Portuguese built, And because they wanted to make it more impressive, they built a huge one like that, but just like massive. And then the emperor was there and everything, so they could like unveil the ship and like put it into the ocean. It just sunk immediately because it was way too heavy. I gotta look that up again if that really happened. But it was the one professor who always was who was not joking around ever. So I'm pretty sure it must have happened because he was the one professor who would never tell bullshit like that. And just imagining the silence and the face of the emperor, and then I could imagine that heads did roll back then. Exactly. Okay, Natsuhi took a deep breath. Though this was a whim of Kinzo's, a man she greatly respected, she seemed to resist the idea of hanging it right there here in the entrance hall, the face of the mansion. Have you heard of this, Aaron, by the way? When the white sheet was pulled off, a Western woman wearing a beautiful dress came into view. It was a massive portrait of a woman.
Is it proceeding well?
Yes, they will be finished by this evening.
I would like to see it hanging there for all to see as soon as possible. I want you overseeing this, my friend.
Leave it to me.
Father, it seems a splendid portrait. Indeed, quite exceptional quality. I am satisfied.
This is your benefactor, the woman who gave you the gold, right?
Indeed. If I had not met Beatrice, I would not be here, nor would the Ushidomiya family, nor would, of course, this mansion. It's only natural that her portrait be displayed in the best possible location.
Now that he said it this bluntly, there would be no contradicting him. Klaus at Natsuhi could only shrug.
Master, the aperitif plate is here. Would you please check to see that all is in order?
Indeed, each and every word must be correct.
Aperitif? Klaus and Natsuhi crooked their heads and followed Kinzo. The leader of the workers set down a plate wrapped in a sheet. The others thought that the picture's name and description might be on it, but it seemed to have quite a lot of words for that.
Father, what is this?
Behold the Sweetfish River running through my hometown. Oh, did we just get it? Are we cool? Apparently not. But I just heard the sound of something updating, didn't I? Am I mistaken? I'm not sure. You heard that too, right? Maybe just gotta wait a few more texts.
Read and interpret it as you like.
I'm gonna check it once more. Oh, might as well also save. No, not for fuck's sake. Here. No, it's still not there. Anything else appear here? I don't think so. I don't know, whatever. So we finally reached the appearance of the aperitif in the portrait. I don't know much about this aperitif. It doesn't exist in my world. Probably not. In your world, there's already a clear successor. You. But not in this world. In other words, this aperitif was set up to choose grandfather's successor after all? Most likely, or he might have wanted to believe in the chance of a miracle. A difficult riddle made so that no one would be able to solve it, including me. If someone actually could solve it, they themselves would be a miracle. Perhaps that miracle would guide the person Kinzo most wanted to solve it. In short, this aperitif really does depict a ceremony to revive the witch Beatrice, just as everyone thought. That does seem to be the obvious interpretation. A mysterious ceremony sacrificing 13 people to revive the witch. However, the true ceremony wasn't that. It lies in wait for someone to miraculously solve it. That is the true ceremony. However, fate does have its irony. Genji already knew. Maybe Kinzo set this up in the first place because he guessed that Genji knew everything. Was that fate a coincidence or something planned? I do not know. However, with this aperitif, the witch Beatrice will revive in the truest sense. Chapter 8. Journey to the Golden Land.